It's a Monday. That's what it does.
That's
Wiggy.
a crappy one at that.
Well, why?
Well,
why? Red Sox got you down?
No, not the Red Sox.
Okay.
The Celtics have got me down.
Celtics got you down.
Jesus.
Well, listen. There are big decisions to be made when it comes to Celtics ownership over the next month or so.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait to hear what you think they should do this morning at some point on today's show. But it was disappointing the way things ended.
Yeah, now we got to watch Knicks Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals. Ugh.
That team, for whatever reason, when they are not hitting their threes, they have no idea what else to do. And you have to explain that to me.
Sounds like the role of a coach.
They have. Well, is it though? Like they're grown men playing a sport that they have played for their entire lives, Chris Curtis.
Yeah.
But it's not like these games end and they all go home and don't see each other until the next game. Like there's practices. There's time that the coach who's in charge is supposed to be like, all right, this hasn't been working for us. We've got to switch the way in which we're playing this game if we have any chance of winning.
But the reason why you get there is because of what you do. Like all of a sudden, you're not just going to change your game plan. I'm
not saying change the entire thing. You got to adjust.
But you adjust in the way of
you
played for Bill Belichick. I mean,
but
if
football,
it doesn't work, you don't keep doing it.
But I think football is completely different.
Nope, it's every sport.
No,
you adapt.
And football would be like, if you're a team that really, really relies on passing the football, right? And you run it a little bit, but you're bread is buttered through the passing game, and that's what you do. And if your passing game's not working, you're going to struggle.
But in your analogy, it would be only 70-plus yard bombs that team throws. No short passes at all.
Well, but I think the NFL,
fourth and inches. Let's run a flea flicker.
The NFL is so much different in the sense of the way the offense is ran in basketball. Yeah. I mean, that's what you do. You shoot. They shoot somewhere between they average about 48. And if you don't hit it, if you don't hit your percentages, this is what you get.
But I don't think I've ever seen a bunch of guys who have played a sport for their entire lives since they were, 8 years old or whatever, who can't adjust. If the threes aren't falling, force the ball inside and at least walk away with a foul.
Force it inside to who?
Force it inside to whomever.
It's easier said than done. It's not a rec pickup Saturday weekend basketball.
Well, obviously, it's easier said than done. But then why do you have a coach?
That's not what they do.
What's the purpose of the job?
I think and I've always said this before. The coach in the NBA is really managing egos, getting guys to buy in the system.
What's the system? It's just threes.
No, the system of guys playing into their specific roles. And then
everybody just chucks up threes.
No, the roles of where they are.
Jaylen being two.
The roles of where they fall on the team. And then the other thing that, we've talked about before, I think with the coach, the adjustment the coach might make is sideline out of bounds plays, maybe a change up your defense from a little bit of man to zone. But the biggest thing, and I've said this before, their job is to really get guys that are superstars and have massive egos to buy into the roles that they're playing, buy into where they need to be, and that's kind of what their roles are as coaches.
In 3 seasons as head coach of the Boston Celtics, Mazzulla, in 2 of those 3, has lost to inferior teams in the playoffs.
Yeah, well, you know what?
Due to the 3.
But I would say this, your stars got to step up. We all. I blame.
Get fired all the time.
I blame Mazzulla. I put some of that on Mazzulla's plate. But your stars got to step up. Jaylen Brown can't foul out in the third quarter. Derek White can't basically have a game where he can't hit the side of a bond.
Right. It's happened my entire life where coaches get fired for star players underperforming.
I understand that.
Nothing from Friday night symbolizes this whole thing better than you brought up Jaylen Brown. He had the ball by himself. Easy too.
Yep.
But feels the need to step back, put the ball on the floor so that he can get the 3. And Karl Anthony Towns, who had nearly covered everybody on the floor on that particular play, is over there because of the extra time that he is trying to get the 3 and steals the ball from him. And that symbolizes it in a nutshell what is wrong with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was so frustrating.
It was so embarrassing.
Oh man, it was
It
so
was-
embarrassing. You get your doors blown
Yeah.
off. Well, and you also got to put it on. You put some of it on Brad's plate, because when you build a team, if you want to build a team where if the 3-point shot's not falling, then you have to build a team that you have another avenue or another player that can go that way.
Well, aren't they building their offense off of what their superstar wants it to be?
I mean, I don't know.
Doesn't that seem like what he wants it to be?
I
mean,
do you
that's
think
what he
Tatum
likes.
wants to just to
He
go?
likes the step back fadeaway three. So
Yeah, but what about everybody else?
Well, does anybody else have a say over there? I don't know.
Stop
I don't
it.
know. I mean,
Stop
he's
it.
The, he's the guy.
Do you think the offense would be better if Tatum didn't take the ball up the court?
The game would have been better if Tatum played.
Just asking
Unfortunately,
that-
didn't.
I know, but that question.
If
do you
he
think-
didn't take the ball up the court,
Yes, that's the
yeah. I
question
would rather a point guard, a real point guard.
Right.
Then
So-
you could put Tatum in other actions. You could do other things with him.
But don't you think that happens because that's what Tatum wants to do?
No, I think it's because you don't have a point guard. You elected not to get a point guard.
So you think Tatum doesn't want to do that?
I don't think Tatum really cares about bringing up the ball. I don't think he's still going to get his shots.
I just think that Mazzulla, for many times during the regular season, in what you said earlier, he does what superstars on the team want to do. And to me, this isn't obviously personal. Joe Mazzulla, I've never met the guy, never spoken to him. The team is not at its best when he is the guy in charge. They won a championship last year. Nobody will ever take it away. But don't allow the Tatum injury to blur what occurred in the second round of the playoffs. With Tatum, you lost this series.
Right.
You fell down 3-1. You lost to the Heat 2 years ago in a pathetic series where you went down 3-0 and Whit Grossbeck was coaching from the owner's seat. The roster is not going to be better next year than it was this year.
Nope.
And it's my guess next year they don't fire Mazzulla. They go say like 42-40 next year, and then he gets fired. And for me, why not get ahead of it? If there's a great coach out there, begin the process sooner rather than later.
Well, all those coaches get fired. You look at every coach, a lot of the coaches that, and I think I heard Jones and Keefe talking about this, that have won championships since 2019. All the coaches been whacked, except for Steve Kerr, I believe. But, Mike Malone, who coached the Denver Nuggets, got whacked. Nick Nurse, who coached Milwaukee, got whacked. So
Budenholzer.
Got whacked.
If you were Brad Stevens, would you
Toronto.
Would you at least give Mike Malone a call?
I mean,
or no?
if you feel like Mazzulla's not the guy, but I think the NBA, I don't necessarily know. If Brad,
I think it depends on what Tatum wants. I think Brad Stevens talks to Tatum and says, "Do you want Joe Mazzulla?"
Yeah, but I don't know how. Do we know how much Tatum went and said, okay, after Ime got fired, said, go get Mazzulla?
No, but I think, Wiggy, you and I have talked about when it comes to the Bruins, Bergeron could have saved Cassidy. And I think that Tatum is, whether he says get fired or not, it's up to him.
He's got a voice.
The biggest voice.
Yeah, he's got a voice, but I still think Brad Stevens is going to bring in the guy he wants to bring in. He'll definitely ask Tatum.
Well, I'll tell you this. Big decisions loom for Celtics ownership, new and old, and you can talk about that all morning long here on Boston Sports Original.